One minute. All right, Mr. Mayor, you're live on YouTube to the public.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The date is February 1st, 2021. The time is now 7 p.m. I call to order a meeting of the Havre de Grace Mayor and City Council. Stand by as I call the roll. Council President Glenn.
Here.
Councilmember Boyer.
Here.
Councilmember Ringsacker.
Here.
Councilmember Zinner.
Here.
Councilmember Robertson.
Here.
Councilmember Martin.
Here.
All council members are accounted for and present. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance and the opening prayer. I pledge allegiance
to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic
of
which stands one nation,
One nation,
God,
under God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with liberty and
liberty.
justice for all. Ask everybody to please remain standing as I ask Council President to read into the record this evening's opening prayer submitted by Pastor Bo Van Dyke of the Christ the King Church.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Let us pray. Lord God, as we gather this evening to steward the business of the city of Havre de Grace, we ask for your blessing and guidance. May you add your blessings to the work of the city council and our mayor, Bill Martin. May you bless the work of those that run the city day in and day out. May you bless and keep safe those who protect our city, the police, and all the various departments that provide service. As we gather tonight, we pray for those who are suffering and for those who are battling illnesses. Give us the opportunity to be a blessing to them so they may bear the burdens and lighten their load. Help us to recognize that our blessings come from you, and we pause tonight to give thanks from our grateful hearts for all you have done for us. Let us say with the psalmist, there is a river whose streams make glad the city of God, the holy habitation of the Most High. God is in the midst of her. She shall not be moved. God will help her when morning dawns. The nations rage, the kingdoms totter. He utters his voice, the earth melts. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our fortress. In closing, may the Lord bless you and keep you and make his face shine upon you and give you peace. Through Jesus, amen.
Amen.
Amen. Council President, thank you very much for reading the opening prayer. And I want to thank again Pastor Bo Van Dyke of Christ the King Church for taking the time to submit prayer. We appreciate your words, sir. Thank you. Always a pleasure.
Mr. Mayor, before we move forward, I got a change to the agenda. I want to make a motion to remove the reappointment of Jim Horn, that's 7A of the Ethics Commission. His term hadn't expired yet.
Okay, thank you very much, Council President. Item A under appointments is removed. Thank you, and we'll take note of that. But item B, Garrett Lytle's still on there, correct? Okay.
Sure.
All right. Okay, we're going to move on to item number 5 on this evening's agenda, approval of the minutes, City Council meeting minutes from January 19th, 2021. Do I have a motion, council, to approve?
So move.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Zinner, seconded by Councilmember Martin. Seconded by Councilmember Martin. Questions or comments on the minutes? All those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed say nay. Council meeting minutes of January 19th, 2021 are approved 6-0 in the affirmative. We're going to go to item 6 on this evening's agenda, which will be comments from citizens of agenda items. This is the part of the council meeting. If there's any comments on something that's on the agenda, now is the time to read it to the record. Mr. Seipel, did we receive during the week any comments, phone calls, letters, or emails, communications from citizens on agenda items?
No, sir, we have not.
We have not. Okay. Council, any comments? Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Seipel. We're going to go to item number 7, appointments. We have one appointment this evening. It's to the Water and Sewer Commission, the reappointment of Mr. Garrett Lytle. Councilmember Martin.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to reappoint Garrett Lytle to the Water and Sewer Commission.
Second.
Council, I have a motion by Councilmember Martin, second by Councilmember Robertson. This is the reappointment of Mr. Garrett Lytle to the Water and Sewer Commission. Question or comments on the reappointment? Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion to reappoint Mr. Garrett Lytle to the Water and Sewer Commission carries 6-0 in the affirmative. Thank you very much, council. We're going to move on to item number 8, this evening's recognitions. This evening, we have no recognitions. Item number 9, proclamations. This evening, we have no proclamations. And item number 10, presentations. This evening, we have no presentations either. That takes us to item 11, which is resolutions. This evening, we have a resolution dealing with a calendar resolution concerning temporary moratorium on approval of permits for pain management clinics. And I'm going to hand this off to the council president for introduction.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I make a motion to introduce calendar resolution concerning the temporary moratorium on the approval of permits for pain management clinics.
Second.
Council, I have a motion by the council president, seconded by Councilmember Ringsacher. This is a motion to introduce a resolution concerning moratorium on pain management clinics. Questions or comments on the introduction? All those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed say nay. Motion to introduce a resolution concerning moratorium on pain management clinics carries 6-0 in the affirmative. Council, this will be resolution 2021-04. 2021-04. I will read the header into the record. A resolution by the City Council of Havre de Grace, Maryland, pursuant to the section 33 and 34 of the city charter and local government and land use articles of the annotated code of Maryland to approve a temporary moratorium on the approval and issuance of permits within the city's municipal limits for the construction of and or proposed use of certain medical clinics primarily engaged in the treatment of pain management. Council, have a motion to adopt resolution 2021-04.
So moved.
Second.
Second, Councilmember Robertson.
Yes.
Councilmember Robertson, were you the second?
Yes, he was.
Thank you very much. I have a motion to adopt by Council President and seconded by Councilmember Robertson. Questions or comments on this resolution, Council? Council President Glenn.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Planning has been receiving a lot of questions regarding opening such offices up in the city of Havre de Grace. And this moratorium, the idea of this moratorium is merely to take a 6-month pause so that planning and the city council can do the necessary research and study to consider all aspects to include the definitions of what pain management clinics truly are.
Thank you very much, Council President. Any other questions or comments from the council? Okay, council, I'm going to call a roll call vote for this resolution. Councilmember Zinner,
Yes.
Councilmember Martin,
Yes.
Councilmember Boyer,
Yes.
Councilmember Ringsacher,
Yes.
Councilmember Robertson,
Yes.
Council President Glenn.
Yes.
Council, by a roll call vote of 6-0 in the affirmative, City Council Resolution 2021-04 is adopted and approved by council. Thank you very much, council members. We're going to go on to item number 12 this evening, which is ordinances, and this evening we have no ordinances. Item number 13 is old business, and this evening we have no old business, which takes us to new business, and we have several special events. I'm going to hand this off to Director of Administration, Mr. Seipel, to read these and explain these, and then We'll vote on them. Mr. Seifel.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, council, and all of our viewers out there in YouTube land. Our first special event is Valentine Love and Grace Boxes. It's a Valentine dinner in a box. The date for this is Saturday, February the 13th. This event would mirror their earlier Taste of Grace, as you may recall, when we did the New Year's Eve duck drop, and they had a New Year's Eve dinner in a box. So the event would run from 4 p.m. until 8 p.m. The restaurateur's request setup to occur at 3, and they'll clean up by 9. It would entail the 1 block of Franklin Street between Union Avenue and St. John, and they would like to have it marked as just one way again for this event. It has been reviewed by Public Works and our police department and have received no noticeable or notable concerns. This time it's a collaboration of 4 of our downtown restaurants: McGregor's, Creole de Gras, Coakley's, and Larapin Catering. The Taste of Grace is a 3-course meal for 2 adults, featuring an appetizer to share, 2 entrees, and 2 desserts. The patrons will choose from a limited menu and place their order online, at which time they'll receive a receipt and a scheduled time to pick up their meal. As far as the COVID plan goes, it'll be the same as before. The folks who work and prepare the meals, of course, have masks and gloves on. The patrons will actually remain in their vehicles. They'll just drive by. It's like a takeout meal. The public work expense for this is $92. There is no cost for service from the police department.
Thank you very much, Mr. Seifel. Council, do I have a motion to adopt the Valentine Love and Grace Boxes?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Martin, second by Councilmember Robertson. Questions or comments on this event, council?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir. Councilmember Robertson.
yeah, I just want to give a shout out to our downtown businesses. I got to take advantage. We're sitting down anecdotally yesterday talking about what we're going to do for Valentine's Day, and I saw that this was coming up. So we're really excited about it. Kudos to everyone involved, and I'm really happy that our downtown folks are making a positive thing out of.
Mr. Mayor, Councilman Robertson is muted.
Okay. Councilmember Robertson, do you hear us? You're muted. We didn't catch the last thing you said.
Yeah, I actually finished speaking and then I muted.
Okay, sorry about that. We had a delay in your.
I'm having some connectivity issues here.
Not a problem. Sorry, we had a delay in your video feed. We didn't know if you were muted when you were speaking or not. Thank you very much, Councilmember Robertson, thank you for your comments. Anybody else have a question or comment before we take the vote on the event? Okay, all right. For the Valentine Love and Grace Boxes for February 13, 2021, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Okay, the event Valentine Love and Grace Boxes for February 13, 2021 carries 6-0 in affirmative and is approved. Okay, great. Thank you very much, council. Back to Mr. Seifel.
Thank you, Mayor. The next event for your consideration is First Fridays. Yes, indeedy, spring is not far away. As in the past years, First Friday will occur on the first Friday of each month, beginning in May and running through October of 2021. The events are sponsored by the City of Havre de Grace. Our setup times would be 3 p.m. with the event running from 5 p.m. until 9:30. The streets are to reopen at 10 p.m. The street closures would be the same as in past years with one exception. The 400 block of St. John, which is where the water treatment plant and Coakley's, the front of Coakley's is, would not be closed. We would resume the prior traffic pattern of permitting vehicles to proceed towards Franklin and then making a left towards the Tidewater Grill along St. John Street. There will be alcohol at this event, and the required fencing and proper permit, staffing, and perimeter controls by the Liquor Control Board will be adhered to by the various restaurants, and they're responsible for their licenses. Alcohol tasting will be available at some vendors, and they will ensure that tasters remain at the vendor table, or they'll lose their privilege to offer those tastings. The Havre de Grace Ambulance Corps will provide emergency medical services if required. Public Works expense for this event is $4,669, and Police Department's expense is $28,476. They anticipate an attendance of between 3,000 to 7,000 attendees per event. The COVID plan will be submitted 60 days prior to the first event and adjusted as needed.
Okay, excellent. Thank you very much, Mr. Seipel. First Fridays, have a motion to approve.
So moved.
So move.
All right, I think if I got this right, I think I got Councilmember Ringsacher, seconded by Councilmember Zinner. All right. Questions or comments on the First Friday event? No? Okay. All those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed say no.
Aye.
Okay, very good. First Fridays is approved, 6-0 in the affirmative, and they'll be running from May until October, downtown Havre de Grace. So let's hope we can have it this year. So thank you very much, Council, for the approval. Looking forward to it. Okay, back to Mr. Seipel. We have one more event.
Thank you again, Mayor. The final special event for your consideration is the Relay for Life and Bark for Life of Harford County. This event is sponsored by the American Cancer Society. This is a one-day event for Saturday, September the 18th from noon until 10 p.m. to be held at Concord Point Park. They actually would like to begin setup on Friday afternoon, September 17th. Breakdown would occur immediately following the event on Saturday at 10 p.m. and they anticipate concluding the breakdown by 11. They request street closures at Lafayette Street, beginning at Young Street and proceeding around the corner on the Concord Street, concluding at Alliance Street. So it's that one little corner there, kind of I call it cattywampus from the lighthouse keeper's house, like we did for the duck drop. Let's see. Food trucks will be set up on Lafayette Street, and they'll also have a handicap parking there. That's between Young Street as approaches Concord Street. Vendors will set up on Concord Street. At 12 p.m. the event begins. The DJ begins playing. There'll be activities and games. There'll be themed laps, yard games, Zumba, etc. And then at 9 p.m. they have a luminary ceremony. It's a somber moment where loved ones are honored, having survived cancer, are fighting cancer, or have lost their battle. They will use glow sticks to light the bags on the track and hold a silent lap in their honor. The cleanup would then begin immediately following that ceremony of honor. They also request the public restrooms at the pump station remain open. The first aid kits will be available at check-in with EMS certified event staff. The public work expenses for this event are $167. There are no expenses for the police department. There is no rain date. And they anticipate attendance of about 200 to 300. A COVID plan will be submitted 60 days prior to the event and adjusted as needed. Mayor, you're on mute.
All right. I usually pride myself in not being on mute, but got me that time. Okay, Council, do I have a motion to approve Relay for Life and Bark for Life?
So move.
So,
Council President Dave Martin? All right. We'll do CP and we'll do Councilmember Martin. Questions or comments on the Bark for Life or Relay for Life? Questions or comments? Thoughts, concerns? All right. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed say nay. Okay. The Relay for Life and Bark for Life of Hartford County, which is scheduled for September 18, 2021 from 12 p.m. till 10 p.m. at Concord Point Park, is approved, 6-0 in the affirmative. Excellent. Thank you very much, Council. That does it for the new business and the special events. We're going to go over to Director's reports, and the first report we'll get was from the Director of Administration, Mr. Seipel.
Thanks again, Mayor and Council. It's kind of interesting. I always look at the calendar, and today is 2/1/21. Just a little something there to make you grin. So today is the first day of Black History Month, and what better way to commemorate great men and women of color than watching a historical reenactment of Rosa Parks' We Shall Overcome, featuring Janice Curtis Green. There is more to the mother of the civil rights movement than most people know. Learn the full story of this civil rights icon through the compelling historical portrayal performed by Janice Curtis Green. This event is sponsored by the Cultural Center at the Opera House. Tickets to virtually attend this performance are free. However, donations are graciously accepted. The performance will be on Friday, February 5th at 7 p.m. For more information, please visit their website at hdgoperahouse.org. On Saturday, February 6th, and continuing on Sunday, February 7th, the United States Coast Guard is having their annual Maryland Boating Safety Course, live, online, and it is state approved. This course satisfies the requirements for operating a vessel in Maryland waters, and a certificate of boating safety education will be issued upon satisfactory completion. Instructors teach 2 sessions. Both begin at 9 a.m. Attendance at both online sessions are required, as you need the requirement of 9 instructional hours, followed by an online test, which is taken at your convenience. The cost for the course is $20 per student. All boating classes offered by the Coast Guard are free for first responders, active military, Sea Scouts, and all medical hospital staff. To register, simply email Abe at ais1234@gmail.com or call 443-504-3880. And on Wednesday, February 10th at 7 p.m., the Havity Grace Arts Collective presents True Love, a chocolate and wine tasting event. Give yourself a special Valentine's gift this year. Join them for an evening of true love, which of course involves chocolate and wine. Enhance your knowledge of wine with a talk by wine expert Joe Lurch, owner of the Vineyard Wine Bar. Your tickets will include delicious milk and dark chocolate from Havity Grace's own Bomb Boys candy, as well as flights or bottles of wine, depending on your ticket choice. You'll also be treated to classical guitar music by Jim Huntz, studio faculty at Hartford Community College. Wine flights and bottles, as well as chocolates, are to be picked up at the Vineyard Wine Bar on Wednesday, February 10th, between 12 p.m. and 5 p.m. This is a virtual event. Tickets are limited, so grab them while you can. And then I also wanted to make mention again of the Valentine Love and Grace Box, which would be on Saturday, February the 13th from 4 until 8. And then finally, on a little housekeeping, on Monday, February 15th, City Hall will be closed in observance of President's Day. City Hall will open on Tuesday, February 16th, otherwise known, I think, of Mardi Gras, at 8 a.m. The second City Council meeting for February will also occur on Tuesday, February 16th at 7 p.m., so please mark your calendars accordingly. And to learn more about these events I just mentioned, and for a complete listing of all the happenings in our great city, please visit our websites, havitygracemd.gov, explorehavitygrace.com, and hdgoperahouse.org. And Mayor, that will conclude my comments my personal comments for this evening, other than thanks, council, for approving these special events. As you can see, we're beginning to slowly come around to what we call the new normal, and I'm very excited about these special events that are on tap. I just hope that the pandemic is cooperating with us in our endeavor. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Seifert. We appreciate the updates on the events and the things going on in the city. We're going to go now to our Director of Planning, Mr. Shane Grimm.
Good evening, Mayor Martin and council members from the Great White North of Northern Hartford County, where it is still snowing, and I think we're getting close to 8 inches of snow here. So, Mayor Martin, you had asked me last week to prepare a presentation for this evening. Would you like me to still do that presentation? I'm prepared to do that.
If you're prepared to give it, absolutely.
Okay, just give me a second here, and I'm going to share my screen real quick. I thought I was going to share it. Let's see. Adam, I'm having some issues sharing mine all of a sudden.
Are you able to hit the share screen button?
Yeah, but it's not coming up with the one that I need for some reason to select.
Okay, just give me one moment. I can load it on my end.
It's actually come up now, Adam. Let me, I
Okay.
think it should be good.
Very good.
Can you all see that?
Yep.
Okay, well, good. I just wanted to take a couple minutes to talk about this presentation that I prepared at the request of Mayor Martin. I sent to him last week and several members of the administration a presentation that wasn't quite finished of some of the projects that are going on around town, as well as some redevelopment projects, as well as some homes that have been renovated, just to show the mayor and the administration what good things are going on around town. There's a lot of good stuff going on. And I think some of you have heard during my testimony to the state on the hospital legislation down in Annapolis that I really truly believe that Havre de Grace is the epicenter of all things Hartford County. Culture and everything that's happening and going on is really happening in Havre de Grace. So we really have a buzz going on, and I feel like, you know, I think everybody knows that I'm a cheerleader for the city, and just really thrilled to be able to present this to you tonight. I braved, like I said earlier, I braved the weather, but unfortunately I went off the road. But I was excited to be there this evening if it was going to be in person to be able to present this to you. But basically, this presentation is just a real quick rundown of some of the things that are going on around town. And so I just want to show that to you, just to kind of show you how great things are happening. So with that, I'll just get started. Let me see if I can. So this is 131 South Washington Street, what it looked like before a recent renovation. And I worked with the property owners to get their plat redrawn because they had some issues with some buildings over property lines. And this is what we have today. It actually is finished now. I'm sure many of you have seen this. It's a beautiful home that was built on the first floor of the existing home that was there. So quite a bit of renovation, and it is beautiful. I've had an opportunity to visit and see inside. It is like Better Homes and Gardens. It looks like it's straight out of a magazine. So really just a wonderful project right there next to Zellman's Funeral Home at Boardman in Washington. This is another home at 200 South Stoke Street before the renovation that occurred. I believe it was last year that it was completed. And with that, you can see what we have now is just a beautiful new home that really presents well. It presents the history of Havre de Grace well, and shows that also really preserving our historic housing stock is also just as important as infill development. And I'll talk a little bit more about that at the end of the presentation. This is a home at 256 Revolution Street that was demolished last year. And unfortunately, it could not be saved. But in its place, this home was constructed. And I believe this home sold for $530,000, somewhere right around there. So if you look at what the assessed value is going to likely be on a home like this as compared to what was there before, is a significant increase. And certainly it's a beautiful home, very attractive, and it looks nice on Revolution Street there. I think that was oops, sorry about that. This is another home. This is a few more years ago, but at 300 Market Street. I think this was about 3 years ago, maybe a little bit more, before demolition. And this is after demolition, right there at the corner of Market Street. And I think that is also Bourbon. I could be wrong. But that looks, I mean, it's a beautiful home. And again, assessed values have got to be going up a lot more than what was there previously. This was an old garage on Market Street as well, that the property was previously subdivided, and the old home, which is next door to it, hopefully will be added to this presentation later on, as it will be demolished soon and a new home will be placed where it was. But what has happened is this was subdivided and someone purchased this old garage that I believe may have had an apartment in it at one time, and they did significant renovations to that. It was really an eyesore next to some really nice looking homes on Market Street. So what we got in this place was this, and just really smart growth at its finest, taking what we have and not tearing it down and reusing what's there instead of taking it down and putting it in a landfill. So they really did something attractive with it that otherwise was not so attractive on Market Street. This is just down the street from City Hall, and this was a vacant lot, and you can see the railroad tracks off to the right there. And this property was subdivided, and 2 lots were created so that new homes could be built on it. And what we got in this place was this duplex that sold, and I believe the duplex on the right sold for around also $330,000. It had a finished basement, while the one on the left I think was right around $300,000. That one did not have a finished basement, but certainly that's $300 or over $600,000 of new homes on a lot that had been vacant for many years. And then right next to it, we had this older home here that was demolished, and the same builder built a single family home, which was basically cutting one of those duplexes in half to create a single family home. This one is currently on the market, has not been sold yet. There was a buyer early on, but unfortunately that buyer was not able to commit to following through with the sale. But that is for sale, and it's a beautiful looking home, and really is a huge improvement to that Warren Street, North Stoke Street corridor, and hopefully will spur additional reinvestment into that part of the city. This is at 455 Lafayette Street, and this is before renovation and after renovation. Just a really nice, attractive home with new siding, and porches freshened up. It's just very inviting, and is really what we want to be doing in Havre de Grace. This is another one that I really personally like. It is 640 Pearl Street, and it's a very small home. And if you had a chance, like myself, to visit it, you'd look at it and say, wow, what could you do with this? Not many people would be able to fit a full family in a home like this, but they did significant renovations and an addition, and restructured the interior of the house, which is well over 100 years old. And this is what we have now, right before it was fully completed. Just a beautiful home with modern amenities, a really incredible backyard, and new parking pad. So just beautiful. Again, the assessed value is really going to go up on a property like this. This is 700 Market Street before renovation, and this one was really wild. It was amazing. There really was nothing left but the shell, the exterior shell of the building. And then they took and created this, another one that's just really, true to Havre de Grace, with really nice, I guess you would call them 4/4 windows, and a standing seam metal roof on the porch, which just really is attractive. By the way, the council did approve a license agreement for this and several others around town. So people are really keeping with the aesthetic of Havre de Grace and our porches, which really is great for kind of that social planning. We want people out and on the street and on their porches. This one may be familiar to one of our council members, 726 South Washington Street. Prior to demolition, this happened also before I was on board with the city, but not too long ago. And what we have in its place is this, another beautiful home on Washington Street, very attractive, and fits nicely, with the other historic homes on Washington Street. This one is on the north side of town at 728 North Stokes Street. It's actually on the corner of Stokes and Erie Street. And a local builder took this and renovated it, and it sold like hotcakes, and I was amazed. This is another one that sold for well over $500,000. And this is what we got in this place. It's my understanding the residents were so attracted to Havre de Grace from Pennsylvania that they came down because of the sailing and boating. And I don't know if this is their full-time home or not, but they were attracted to what we have to offer in the city of Havre de Grace. This one, as we all know, is the Wright Henry House to the left there, 322 North Union Avenue. And this is before renovation. And while it still does need some interior renovation work, I'm glad that the property owner did finally take the opportunity to work on the exterior with the help of a local contractor to spruce it up so that it is much more attractive than it was before. And we also happily have the historic marker on the street replaced as well. That was long remembered and long forgotten, but was replaced. And so we're happy about that. This one is a recent one at 416 North Union Avenue. It didn't look so bad. It needed some help. But this one also sold, and I believe this one sold for well over $600,000 in the last couple of weeks, or at least there was a contract on it. And this is what we have now. I had an opportunity to visit this home, and this is one of those homes where it just keeps going. When you walk through it, it's just like, okay, I'm done. And then there's another room, and there's another room. Just really a gorgeous home that was, I believe, apartments at one time. So it really plays into that conversion that we want to see on multifamilies, especially along Union Avenue. So we have a beautiful home that's been converted back to a single family and really has increased in value. And that is a great thing. This one is just really awesome. And I was really impressed with this one as well. This is what we had. Many of you, such as Mr. Gamatori, I think remember this one. It was actually a dwelling many, many years ago, and then was converted into a doctor's office, and recently has been converted back into a single family dwelling. And also the property was subdivided. So hopefully in the near future, the two lots behind it, I will be adding to this presentation as well. So that is more infill development. Again, smart growth, really the epitome of that, putting new homes and construction where we already have the infrastructure in place to be able to serve this new development. And of course, we're getting new connection fees. We're getting cost recovery fees. So really, we're doing nothing specifically to incentivize this. It's just the fact that people want to be in Havre de Grace. People want to live downtown. They want to be a part of the action. And it's only going to keep going and getting, we're going to get greater and greater reinvestment in the city. So this is what we have at 625. Again, another property that sold for, I believe, well over $500,000. Also got an opportunity to look at this one inside. Amazing craftsmanship and work. Just beautiful, just gorgeous. This one is 100 Alliance Street. As you can see across to the left there, that's where the lighthouse is. And this was demolished last year. The property went through a preliminary subdivision plan approval, and that was for 6 townhouse lots, a 3-pack on the Concord Street side, and then the 3-pack on Young Street with a common drive. And this is what we have. So if you look at this, we had a vacant dwelling that didn't have a lot of value. And now we have homes, 3 homes here that I think sold for well over $400,000, maybe $500,000. So you have $1.5 million of investment on this side, and likely you'll have another $1.5 million of investment when the other 3 are built. So that is just amazing, and it's beautiful. It's has great views of the river, and it's just really going to improve the city and this portion of the city. Help to bring up property values, which we'd love to see. This one is one that's not completed yet, but I did get a picture. This is 121 and 123. Unfortunately, I couldn't get a good picture of 123, which is on the right, which was, that was done several years ago, I think by the same person that's renovating. I'm sorry, 121 is on the right, 123 is on the left. 121 was renovated several years ago, and I think it was by the same person doing the work of 123. You can sort of see 121. It's the green clad dwelling there, and 123 is nearing completion. Again, a home that otherwise some people may have wanted to tear down, but it really is a beautiful home. I look forward to seeing the interior of that home as well. Very spacious. It seems like very modern inside for its age. This is the southeast corner of Revolution Street and South Stoke Street, which was a vacant lot for many, many years. I think there was a dwelling at one time that was torn down. And then what we did was, when I first came on board with the city, we reviewed a subdivision plan for Habitat for Humanity. And what was approved was on the Freedom Lane side, which I don't have a picture of, is a single family home, which is, there is a person residing in that house now that has purchased that home. But then they were approved on this parcel for a total of 6 units, 3 duplex units, all on their own lots. And you can't see the one to the left that has been completed. This one is nearing completion. And what I'm very happy about with Habitat for Humanity on this project is they had to work with the state because there were some state funds that went into the demolition of the previous structure. And that fact that it was in the National Register Historic District, they had to do some things like add some dormers and get approved for the style of the home. So it looks very nice. It's reminiscent of other historic structures around town, other duplexes with the dormers and the like. And there will be another duplex to the right of this, and that will complete that project. I'm not sure when they're going to get started on that, but very nice looking. And so that does it for the presentation of what's going on. I can easily, in the next couple of months, add several more slides. But I just want to say that, there's many, many millions of dollars of reinvestment that's going to be going into the city or has already occurred in the last year. So it's very exciting. I mean, I get really excited. This is what I love to talk about. It makes me really happy to be working for the city of Havre de Grace, to see the change that is occurring and how great things are and what we have to look forward to in the city. And it's not the work of one person, it's the work of many people in the administration, in the Department of Planning, other departments that really has helped to foster this growth in the downtown. We always talk about Bully Rock, and those projects are always on our mind, but really what is getting the attention now is infill development, because people want to be downtown. They want to be in a city that is full of life and is vibrant and has amenities and community activities like no other. So we are poised at the end of this pandemic to be the city that everybody wants to go to. And I'm so excited to be a part of that. One thing I did want to again mention is that as we continue to see this infill development, I want to continue to work on design guidelines to make sure that our new development is consistent with the historic nature of our city. But also I want to remind the council that we have a lot of history in the city. We all know that. And we can't forget that it is important to try to conserve our history. And while sometimes it's disheartening to see some structures be demolished, some of them just can't be saved. And it's best that we see those demolished and new structures put in their place. But we also shouldn't incentivize, and we aren't incentivizing, but we should never go down the path of trying to incentivize demolitions. Certainly no one would want to see a demolition of some of our fine structures along Union Avenue. They're the iconic structures that really make Havre de Grace a place that everyone remembers, that beautiful Union Avenue corridor. So really, we need to preserve, protect, and cherish our history and incorporate that into what's happening in the new development in our city. So sorry I was long-winded, Mayor. I think everybody thought they were going to get out of this meeting early, but I was hoping you'd let me do this presentation because I was just really excited to be able to do this and present this. So if anybody has any questions, please let me know, but I look forward to hopefully over the summer redoing this presentation with new slides.
Mr. Graham, thank you very much for the presentation. Again, I appreciate you getting it all ready to show council. I knew that council would enjoy seeing that as much as I did when I received your email last week. It's there's no one thing you can put your finger on to gauge the success of the city of Havre de Grace. It's a myriad of things that we work on. I mean, to begin with, we have an amazing police department that keeps our city safe and keeps us highly ranked in the state of Maryland, if not the country, in various categories, such as, great place to live, raise your kids, reported crime. That's a huge factor. We have wonderful schools. We have a new high school, new middle school. But we're also, like you said, we're a city that has things going on. And we have, when we're not faced with a global pandemic, we normally have events going on every weekend, festivals. We have an arts and entertainment district. We have great restaurants. We have the history. We have the water. We have outdoor recreational opportunities for families. So, like I said, all these things, whether it's the music downtown, the lighting, the atmosphere, these all tie in together to create, that magical thing that every city strives for, which is that quality of life people want to see. Like I said, it's not just one silver bullet. It's a complexity of a lot of different things. And Shane, that PowerPoint really underscores what we're doing. I mean, sometimes you can gauge success, like from a budgetary point of view from our city. It's like, how many new constructions do we have? Mainly in places like Greenway Farms and Bully Rock, for capital cost recovery hookups. But one of the things we started looking at the last couple of years is how many people are walking into City Hall and picking up a permit because they want to remodel their house. They want to put a porch on their house, want to put a dormer on their house, or they, want to add a deck. Because if this city was a dying city, if people were leaving, nobody would be investing any money into any homes in the city. There are towns, not too far away from the city of Havre de Grace where they would do anything to see someone build $300,000 worth of homes in 6 townhouses, or $3 million, I mean. So, I commend the planning department for compiling a list of all these permits. I think it's a great barometer of the direction the city's heading in. And the best news of all is we're just getting started. The best is yet to come. So we're very excited about the prospects of our city moving forward in the next couple of years, especially when we get out of this current pandemic that we're in. I think we're going to rebound faster than anybody's ever seen it. And like you said, this is being done during a global pandemic. So if we're still keeping our nose above water in these times, imagine how we're going to be when we spring out of this. So again, Shane, thank you so much for the presentation. Like I said, I know the council appreciated seeing it, as well as the general public who has an opportunity to view this council meeting would like to see the before and after photos. And one more thing, we're really big into historic preservation here in Havre de Grace. We work closely with our Historic Preservation Commission. And a lot of pictures you showed us, people came in and completely just redid a historic home to historic standards, which is fantastic. We love that, see that. Some people just kind of, gave a facelift to a historic home. And then in some cases, people had to tear down and rebuild, or people actually built on an empty lot. But it seems to me from most of your pictures, even the new construction that we saw, a lot of the people building these new homes, it looks like they intentionally try to keep with the architecture of the city. There are a lot of homes that look like they blend right into a streetscape. So again, there's no rule that says you have to, but I commend everyone that comes in here, and when they're, they have the most likely choices to tear down and rebuild or to put something on a new lot. A lot of times they blend into the architecture of our city. So thank you very much, Mr. Grimm. I'll open up the council for comments if you have any comments or questions, Mr. Grimm.
Great job, Shane. Good job. Well done.
Thank you, sir.
Hi, it's Carolyn. Shane, thank you so much. I really appreciated seeing all of the properties that we've talked about over the past couple of years at the during the Historic Preservation Commission, especially the ones obviously that are being refurbished. And the commission is dedicated to the fact that historic preservation is an economic driver, and it's no different for the city of Havre de Grace. So this is really exciting, and thank you so much.
Jane?
As a person who actually did this whole process, I want to also give kudos to the whole Department of Planning and DPW, because you all work very closely with the homeowners to help people step through the process and get to the final point. I can remember trying to get my occupancy permit in the middle of winter, and people were reasonable and helped me figure out how to get to the point that I could get in the house. So I think that's another great thing about living in a small town is we all work together to try to get to a common goal at the very end, and it pays off for the city as a whole. So thank you. And thank you to DPW. I know Tim Woody's on here too. You guys were huge.
Mr. Mayor. I just,
Councilman Robertson, go ahead.
thanks. Yeah, I want to echo what Councilmember Boyer is saying and then what you said as well. You know, Shane, thank you for that very comprehensive list and all the great photos. You know, it's easy to miss all of the improvements that have gone on downtown. I've lived in downtown since moving to Havre de Grace, and you know, I've seen the improvements over time. And I think, as the mayor said, I mean, part of what drew me to it, to the downtown area is the historic nature, as well as the ease of access to all of the events, which I'm missing desperately right now. But, you know, I think that all of that stuff is shining through, and folks are really recognizing the value that we have here in town. And as Shane was saying, I mean, when one property gets redeveloped or, you know, updated or upgraded, and some investments made there, you know, it's only a matter of time before those dominoes start to fall in the right direction. So we are very fortunate to be one of the towns that are thriving and not dying, not only because of the pandemic, but in general. So thank you very much, Shane and Tim and Mr. Mayor and Erica and everybody involved, in the chief, of course. And people wouldn't want to live here if it weren't a safe community. So it's truly a team effort, and we got a lot of great folks paying attention and you know, turning that helm. Oh, and can't forget George, the guy that, you know, makes sure that all of those excess tax dollars that we're getting from the increased property values are being put to good work. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Robertson. Appreciate your comments.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember Ringsager.
can you guys hear me? I had to change platforms.
You can hear loud and clear.
Okay. Shane, I just want to say that excellent presentation. Most of those I've worked with you through the Planning Commission on, and it's really nice to see the follow-up afterwards and the end product of all the hard work that you've put into it, and the commission in general. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Ringsager. Any other questions or comments? Okay, excellent. Thank you again, Shane. We're going to go to Mr. George Doherty, our Director of Finance. How are things going in the spending department?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First, thank you for this Zoom meeting. I got to tell you, it's the first time in a long time that I didn't feel like I was a member of the semi-monthly Bank Robbers Association of the Old Spaghetti Westerns. It's good to see everybody's full face. Financially, the city's doing well. The general fund is sitting at a little over $6.35 million. We're about almost $1.1 million ahead of where we thought we'd be at this time in the budget. As is stated many times, the beginning balance, we started out with almost $1.25 million more than we expected due to all the spending restrictions as we hunkered down during the COVID pandemic at the end of last year. Salaries and benefits are running about $700,000 below our budget estimates. Most of that's due to healthcare claims being down, vacancies being extended as we deliberately hire new people, and due to reduced overtime, part of which is as a result of the city slowing down quite a bit. Our income tax receipts are running at about $500,000 behind schedule, so that's improved a little bit. The real property taxes are running about $108,000 over budget. And part of that, you just saw a lot of that with Shane's presentation. And highway user fees have not changed. They still are expected to be about $63,000 behind budget based on State Highway Administration's estimate. We get to the water sewer fund. As so boldly predicted by me at the last meeting, the fund is now at a deficit of $120,000. And it's down 430,000 year to date. Our operating profit is sitting at just under 1.5 million. And we've added another 1.45 million in capital fees, and in capital projects and debt, we spent 3.3 million, including $1.7 million this morning. So as I told you, we were going to have this big payment we do every February 1st. And I fully expect that a deficit will very quickly be back to a good fund balance. Fund 8, the fund balance is sitting at just under $1.1 million. It's increased over 250,000 year to date. It's about 50,000 ahead of last year, and that's a combination of our quarterly and annual premiums for insurance, paying quarterly instead of annually. And we've had lag in fuel purchases, which will probably end up reversing itself with the next presentation. And those are the conditions of the city as we speak. Is there any questions?
Council, any questions for Mr. Doherty before we move on? It appears not. Mr. Doherty, thank you very much for the update. We appreciate all the numbers. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we're going to go to Mr. Tim Whitty, our Director of Public Works. I know you and your crew have been busy for the last 36 hours. Mr. Whitty, how are you doing today?
Oh, real good. They're finishing up the last crew's working till eight tonight, and then they'll be coming back all grouped together at one time, the full both shifts at one time at 7 in the morning to start with cleanup for the storm that we're going through now. So just a couple items for the update. The 12-inch water line from Havre de Grace to Aberdeen, the RFP went out last week, I believe last Wednesday. I did on my own contact and submit plans, specifications, and the RFP to 3 contractors just to get a head start on that. The Old Bay Lane project, which is the water line loop, that project will be going to RFP this month. The water line replacements at Wilson and Green will also be going out to RFP this month. Both sewer projects for Commerce and Francis Street will also be going out to construction for request for proposal this month of February as well. So we're going to be pretty busy in the construction end. And then finally, we had a Zoom meeting on the 27th. I know I mentioned that from the last council meeting for the Living Shoreline. That went extremely well. We were able to address all the comments brought forth by NOAA as well as the Army Corps of Engineers. We're going to respond back in writing just to follow up on the response to their questions in writing. And we're going to wait on the determination for permits. So it's an exciting time. We made our points. Was very well put together with Underwood, and Stephanie made a real nice presentation. And we're just waiting to start. Waiting to hopefully get some good news, because, as I said, both projects at Water Street and the Living Shoreline are hitched together, and with DNR, the money's there. I mean, they're just waiting for the approval. So we have an opportunity to make some significant changes down there for sure. So just fingers crossed, I guess. That's all I have. Thanks.
Mr. Whitty, I want to thank you very much for the report. And fingers crossed. Let's hope we can get some good news from the state soon and start that project. I really believe that's going to change Havre de Grace in a very, very positive way.
Definitely it will. It's going to change the whole face of Havre de Grace. I really do believe that.
Absolutely. 100%. So thank you again. And again, thanks to you, your department, and all your road crews who have been pushing snow and salting the roads over the last 36 hours. Been doing a great job. And
I know they do. Jeff's got a great bunch of guys. He's a good leader.
Absolutely. Thank you, Tim. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
So we're going to move now to the Chief of Police, Chief Teresa Walter. Good evening, Chief.
Good evening, Mayor. How are you?
Doing well. Thank you very much.
Good, very good. I just want to take this opportunity, since it is snowing and we have somewhat miserable weather, just to remind folks that when the Maryland State Police or the Maryland State Highway Administration declares a snow emergency plan is in effect, what that basically means is two things. First off, if you are out driving on the road, you do have to have snow tires or chains. I'm not sure that there's anything like that anymore because there's all-purpose tires now that are out there, but you do have to have those on your vehicle. And the second thing is that it also prohibits parking on roads or streets that are designated as snow emergency routes. So for here in Haven Grace, we're talking Union Avenue and Otsego Street. So you cannot park, that it again prohibits people from parking on those types of roads. If you're parking there, it makes it more difficult for the snow plows to clear the roadway. And we need those roads clear. So please pay attention to that. And again, also keep in mind that the snow emergency plan might be called at different times of the day or night or during the event. If you want to find out whether or not the snow emergency plan is in effect, you can always call the police department, or you can go on the Maryland Department of Transportation's website. And it has a list of every county and what time the snow emergency plan is in effect, and it also shows when it's lifted. So please keep that in mind. And the other thing I wanted to do, Mayor, is I wanted to thank you, Captain Alton and Sergeant Petz, and all of the officers and everybody else that came out and plunged for the Special Olympics Maryland. I think the good captain and the good sergeant picked the coldest day at that time for us to do our plunge, but it was great. We managed to raise over $3,000 for Special Olympics Maryland. And I really do appreciate all of the help that the Susquehanna Hose Company gave us and their dive team, because I know they're in there with us also. Of course, they've got all their suits and that type of thing. But as you mentioned, we were talking about it, Mayor, it was actually warmer out of the water once we got out than when we were in the water. So I do want to thank everybody. I know we had some people that were just walking by along the Joe K Trail. They saw us, and I guess they took mercy on us because a lot of people donated after seeing us there. So again, thank you very much, Mayor. I do appreciate it. And again, thanks to Captain Alton and Sergeant Petz for getting that together very, very quickly. That would be it, sir.
Chief, thank you very much for the update. And again, thanks to the captains and all the officers for organizing and participating in this year's Polar Bear Plunge. It is amazing. When you get down to your bathing suit and like a Hawaiian shirt and it's 10-degree wind chill and you're freezing and you get into the water, when you get out, you're not cold anymore. There's something not right about that.
That's correct.
You should seek medical attention immediately. Yes. No, but everybody's like, oh, we're fine now, we're warm. Even though it's 10-degree wind chill. But anyway, it was for a great cause as always. And I just have to say, being in Haven Grace, we were lucky. We actually had a beach and we had a river to go into on the bay, or access to the bay. So we did it in true Sandy Point style, even though we weren't Sandy Point. So yes. Some people dunked themselves in a bucket of water, but we did it the right way. So thank you very much, Chief. Appreciate it.
Indeed. Thank you, sir.
Absolutely. We're going to move on to item 15, business from the mayor's office. A couple things real quick. It was mentioned earlier from the chief about parking on snow emergency routes. Also, just want to remind people, a lot of times people get frustrated when snow plows plow in their driveways after they've been shoveling all day long. So one of the things you can do is just, when you do shovel your driveway, start from the street, work your way into the driveway and shovel the stuff to the sides. It helps alleviate all the extra buildup of snow. And here's something that most people probably don't know, but I'm going to tell it to you anyway. If you're really, really a city slicker and you know how snowstorms work around the city of Havre de Grace, the way you're supposed to park during a snowstorm is if it's an odd number year, like 2021, then the night before the snowstorm, everybody parks on the odd side of the street, the odd number houses. And if it's even number, you park on even number houses. That's kind of like an urban legend. And I know a lot of people are probably thinking, I never knew that. But anyway, just if you got neighbors on a street and your street's not too long, say, hey, everybody, if it's going to snow the night before, let's all go to the one side of the street. that way, at least the snowplows can get a wider swath going on down the street. So spread the news with your neighbors, because I don't think winter's over yet. But anyway, with that said, just a brief COVID update. Harford County has finally broken over, since last time I saw it, has broken over 11,000 cases. We're currently, as of today, 11,411 cases in Harford County. Baltimore County has almost 50,000 cases. So it's, we're faring a little better than Baltimore County, but 11,411 cases is still a lot. Havre de Grace, as of today, is 768. So that's really getting up there for a city of a little over 14,000 people. So, but I know a lot of people now are starting to get the vaccine. A lot of people are at least trying to get the vaccine, or trying to find, make an appointment. I don't want to get into all the details right now, because everybody has a different story, whether, you're in assisted living, if you're over 75, if you're over 65, if you're considered, frontline worker, continuity of government, healthcare, first responders. It sounds like they're giving the shots out as fast as they can get them. I just want everybody to know the city of Havre de Grace has offered several times to the Harford County Health Department the use of our community center. Should they find themselves in a position where they would like to have a centralized area of people that live in this area. The community center is larger than 10,000 square feet, and we have a huge brand new parking lot repaved. We even offered use of our tent, if that would help people speed up the vaccination process. So, we're just letting everybody know the city of Havre de Grace is going to do everything we can to assist in the vaccination process. It's been offered to the health department should they want to use it. And I want the council members to know that as well. So we were asked the other day by one of our delegates if we offer that, and the answer is yes, we did. So maybe the health department take us up on it. I don't know what their plan is yet. And also, finally, a gentleman who turned 100 years old a year ago passed away on January 20th, a few weeks ago, at the age of 101. And that man's name was Ted Hoke. Ted was born on April 16th, 1919, just at the end of World War I. And he met his wife in 1939 and got married in 1940. He did live past his wife. His wife died a little while back. But Ted Hoke was a fine gentleman. And if you don't know who I'm talking about, I guarantee you're going to know who I'm talking about now. If you're coming down 155 on Superior Street, basically if you're coming down 155 under the bridge before you make it right on Juniata, there's always a gentleman standing by his mailbox, just kind of leaning back on his mailbox, watching the world go by. And if he always wave at you, if you made eye contact with him, he was such a great man. And that's Ted Hoke. And I think you all know who I'm talking about now. So, and he lived a full life, and we had the privilege here in Havre de Grace to recognize him on his 100th birthday. So anyway, God bless Ted and his family. I know his daughter, Margaret Fluitt. I used to work with her at Avenue Middle School, so she's a great lady as well. So again, God be with you and your family, Margaret Fluitt, and your father was a good man. And so with that said, we will move on to council comments. And we're going to start off this evening with Councilmember Robertson.
Sorry, wrong button. Good evening, everybody. The only thing that I want to bring up is that the Budget and Finance Committee meeting that's normally scheduled for the first Tuesday will not be held tomorrow evening. So we're going to have to cancel for this month. Unfortunately, I have another obligation. Other than that, everybody stay safe, stay healthy, stay warm, get your vaccines if you can, and God bless.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Robertson. Appreciate it. We're going to move on to comments from Councilmember Martin.
No comment tonight, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you very much, Councilmember Martin. And we're going to move on to Councilmember Ringsacher.
Mr. Mayor, Council, everybody at home, want to thank you so much for letting us do it by Zoom, so I don't have to go out in the cold weather, I guess. I do want to remind everybody, please be careful driving on the ice. It's nasty. My wife slid a little bit coming down Chapel Road this morning down towards Royal Farms, but not much problem after that. I do want to ask everybody to make sure that you're digging out your fire hydrants. The fire department, the easier access that they have to the fire hydrants, the better they can protect your home and your neighbors' homes in times it's needed. Right now, the snowfall that we had, I keep looking outside. The snowfall we had isn't too bad. They can still access it, but if they get plowed in and covered by snow, then they have to search for it, and that's needed time to protect your home. So please be sure to dig out your fire hydrants. We will be holding a Marina Commission later this month, and I believe the 17th we'll be having a Wage and Benefits Commission, and we'll have that information posted online. But with that, Mr. Mayor, thank you so much, and everybody stay safe, be warm. As Jason said, get your vaccines. I got mine last Friday. It wasn't too bad. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Councilmember Ringsacher. We're going to move to comments from Councilmember Boyer.
Thank you, Mayor. Don't really have a lot to say today. Just want to show some appreciation to our first responders who've been out in the snow, keeping us all safe, responding to a large amount of accidents lately in the last couple of days, and also to the DPW guys who have gone out and worked through the storm and been cold and kept our streets as open as possible. I think our streets are pretty good compared to some other places that I've seen around the county. So please, if you see them, give them a wave, say hi, and I just want to say thank you to everyone in regards to that. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Council. Okay, we're going to go to Councilmember Zinner. Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. I just again wanted to thank Shane for his great presentation, and I know that anyone from the Historic Preservation Commission that's listening tonight will be very happy, and that'll just segue into they're going to have their regularly scheduled meeting that'll be live streamed similar to this meeting next Tuesday, the second Tuesday of the month at 7 p.m. and the agenda will be posted prior to the meeting. And I want to also thank DPW for the work they do in keeping the roads clear and keeping us and the police department and everyone else who helps to keep us safe. And Jimmy, I got my vaccine last Wednesday. So pretty excited about that. So that's all I have.
Thank you very much for your comments, Councilmember Zinner. And finally, we're going to go to comments from the Council President himself. Good evening, Council President Glenn.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just tell everybody to stay safe, head very strong, and an effort to get Shane Grimm home tonight. No further comment.
Thank you very much, Council President. So, okay. We're going to go to item number 17, comments from citizens. Mr. Seipel, have we received any communications through fax, letter, email, phone call from any members of the public on non-agenda items?
I received one email from a Mr. Kurt D. Smith Sr. Unfortunately, he did not give me his address, but we know who Kurt Smith is, I believe, from past comments. He says, to all, happy Imbolc and Merry Candlemas. I don't make this stuff up. The winter solstice is upon us, a time to restock your wood for the hearth and fireplace. This day is reserved for planting of seeds for new growth and to forgive others for last year's transgressions. Light an extra candle or two this day at your altar for those not able to. For our twins and mumbles whales, I'm going to butcher this up, but it's like Gilfar ye something or another, or Merry Blessing of the Candles. With respect, Kurt D. Smith Sr. And that is the only comment I have this evening.
Thank you very much for reading that into the record, Mr. Seipel, from Mr. Smith. Before we adjourn, I want to thank the council members for the last minute transition to making our council meeting onto a Zoom meeting. We weren't really quite sure about this unstable forecast that, could be anywhere from 1 inch to 10 inches of snow within a couple hours, but I didn't want anybody putting themselves in a dangerous situation, or the cameraman that films our meetings might not have been able to make it. So I want to make sure the public was able to see a video or a meeting filmed. So it's in there for the record. So it looks like we may have some more storms coming up if you watch the 7-day forecast. But I do know that I checked the weather forecast for Punxsutawney tomorrow, and at 6:30 in the morning, it will be cloudy. So that little groundhog is not going to see his shadow, and hopefully winter time won't be too much longer. So with that said, Groundhog Day is an important day in meteorology. So it really gives us a lot to learn from. But with that said, council, can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
I have a motion by everybody. Do I have a second?
Second.
Everybody.
Yeah, a motion by Council President, seconded by, I heard Councilmember Martin there somewhere. All right. All those in favor said aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Okay, motion to adjourn meeting, carries 6-0 in the affirmative. Time is now 8:15. Council, I want to thank you very much, and I want to thank my staff for making the Zoom meeting